Hey everyone, I'm Michael Brew, CMO at Agent Moves, and welcome to our Good to Great series. We're all about speaking with great realtors and seeing how they got there to help other realtors become great. So let's get started today with Erin Torres. Welcome, Erin.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to chat with you.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate your time. And if you've been watching some of my interviews with agents, I love starting with something that's not about real estate. This is a really interesting one in what Erin's doing. Maybe some great tip for other agents out there, but she's created a site, Travel Like a Local for Vermont, and populating this with content every day. I want you agents to listen to that every day. I haven't heard anyone doing it like this. But Erin, I'd love to hear about this, and tell us a little bit more about kind of this initiative, how it got started,
Yeah.
and what you're actually doing.
So I actually started Travel Like a Local Vermont before I got into the real estate space. And it was kind of before influencing and content creation was a thing. It was now 11 years ago. And I started blogging and got on Instagram. And it was really a hobby because I said, I love traveling around. I love exposing hidden gems. I love supporting my community and getting out there and traveling around. And it actually fed very well into real estate. So I got licensed in 2017, and it's been my predominant lead generation tool by capturing local content and really solidifying myself as a local expert, whether it's people who are local trying to buy or sell, or people who are relocating here as well. So it's very much just local content, though. It could be coffee shops, it could be new hikes in the area. I'm in Vermont, all sorts of fun things, but it's not a ton of real estate content. I do weave it in, I do talk about real estate, but I really want to aim with location first, and how do we market the lifestyle, and how do we market the place where we all love to call home in the Green Mountain State.
I mean, absolutely fantastic. We spoke a little bit about this just before we, did the recording, but we love when agents, kind of own their local market. It shows you're the local expert. So if
Yeah.
they're going to come see anyone, I'm going to come see you.
And for me, it was really important because I was coaching and training and doing a lot with other agents at that point. And I said, and I always say, there are 150 ways to sell a house, but you need to actually choose the lead generation tools and models and systems that feel authentic and genuine to you. So you actually do them. And so many agents like the shiny objects and popping from this lead gen source to that lead gen source and whatever else. But I found that I needed to tap into who I am authentically, and I'm not going to door knock. I don't like cold calling. I don't want to bother people. I don't like when somebody comes and knocks on my door. So why am I going to do that to someone else? So I said, how can I actually come up with a content engine for my brand and for this company that I now own that is going to enable me to consistently put out content and have a lot of fun while I'm doing it? That's the big thing, is if you enjoy what you're doing when it comes to lead generation, where it doesn't feel like you're working in the real estate space, and you have great clients who come to you and already like, know, and trust you and feel like they know you, there's no conversion needed. There's no nurturing needed. They are inbound leads that largely come to you through content and say, I want to work with you. Are you willing to help me? Which is really fun and really rewarding as well.
Well, yeah, definitely very different than, yes, the shiny objects that agents are following, Zillow leads that work for a lot of agents. Don't get me wrong, right? But like you're saying, you need to find your path on lead generation. So stay with this for a little bit. Is everything coming through this website for lead gen, or are you, doing paid boost, or what else are you doing?
So the majority of my deals, and I closed 40 units last year, I'll do 40 to 50 this year. The majority, I would say probably 80% come from Instagram. And then the majority of the others are agent referrals. And some of those will come from Instagram. Some of those will come through Facebook as well, and kind of my social presence that I have there and just networking. But I really wanted myself and my name to become synonymous with Vermont. So by creating the Vermont content and whatever else, that's really where the bulk of where my clients come from. And then now it's also past clients as well, since I have been licensed for quite some time, and really focus on proactivity and proactive communication so that my clients have just a stellar experience with vendors and staying in touch and providing a lot of service outside of the transaction as well. So, I'm getting a lot of the 5-star reviews, and I'm getting a lot of people referring their clients and saying, you have to work with Erin. She's the best in Vermont. So it all kind of ties together between the lead gen model that I have in place, which is highly reliant on the content creation, and then just making sure that I'm authentically staying in touch with people who I have relationships with. I don't do, a 36 touch campaign that's really regimented or whatever else, but I will take Instagram content like Reels and turn that into blog posts, and then use blog posts for newsletters that I send out to my database, just to continually bring them items of value. And I always think about it through the lens of, if I were a buyer, a seller, or investor, or somebody interested in local content, what would I want to receive? What's going to get my attention, and what would be valuable content for me? and how can I add value to their lives? And that's really the focus of what I do and where my business comes from. So it's very simple. I don't do a ton of external prospecting. It's really just the content engine that's bringing people to me.
Just fantastic. I mean, you've given us a fantastic opening and a model. Again, if it works for others, right? You had built this site for over quite some time, and so you had it. I'm sure great organic for organic search. You
Yeah.
were probably showing up right up top. But okay, let's break it down now and talk about you had the site. Okay, like you said, it was a hobby. You were starting it. You didn't know what this was going to do for you. That it was going to be your lead generation tool, right? So tell us about how you got started in real estate, and then how did you start to see, hey, I can use this content and I think this is going to be a great tool for me?
Yeah. So I got into real estate in 2016. I was actually hired in marketing and operations for a real estate expansion team. And I very quickly was coaching and leading and training operations leaders and CEOs of these teams across the country. And I said, well, I should probably feel what it feels like to be an agent and have someone look at you in the eyes and say, I'm going to be homeless if you can't find me a home, right? And just the stress of it and the emotion of it and being on the road all day and having to juggle a ton of things going on. So I got licensed and I started doing deals right away because I wanted to walk in the shoes of an agent and be an agent. And I've always believed that sales and marketing need to go very much hand in hand. And I very much believe that real estate doesn't have to be salesy so long as it's really value driven. So I started selling right away, and largely it was,
So
severe at that point.
yeah, tell us about that. Okay, so you get started right away,
Yeah.
and now you have a database, a bit of a database, just from being in the community and so forth. But how do you get started? How does it
Yeah.
start?
So I got started just by being in touch with people and saying, "Hey, I'm in real estate. I would love to help you." And then a lot of referrals. Once I did a few deals, it was people kind of spreading the word that way. And then I started talking on social media that, "Hey, I'm a realtor. I would love to help you." And a lot of times too, if you've already developed kind of a brand and people trust you, they're going to trust you and trust your local expertise in the real estate lens as well. And one of my kind of points of difference is that I do work the whole state of Vermont pretty much.
Hmm.
And that's helpful because a lot of people who are moving here might not know exactly where they want to be. Or people who are buying a second home, they might want to be in a ski community, but not really care what mountain it is. And I think so many agents, and granted, I don't always love driving 4 hours like I did yesterday to go show one of my listings, right? But at the same time, I try to maximize those trips and try to say, okay, what other content is around while I'm making this journey to then utilize that in my kind of content repository. But with that said, having the kind of mindset of I will help whoever, whatever price range, whatever location, I'm willing to put in the work. I think that speaks a lot of volumes to consumers who are looking for someone who's going to go the extra mile and know that they're in good hands and someone who they can trust and someone who they can trust in a lot of different price ranges and across the state.
Excellent, excellent. So I know you're a solo agent, obviously. You're doing the marketing, right?
Yes.
Developing the content, posting it, taking care of the newsletters and so forth. Any other support, or are you like no other backroom support?
No, I have a transaction coordinator.
Oh,
So it's
beautiful. Okay.
worked with for quite some time, and she helps with, getting listings up, and she helps in the back end talking to lenders and attorneys and whatever else. And that enables me to actually be on the road or go
Sure.
on vacation and whatever else. I closed 12 deals in June of this year, and I was gone for half the month abroad. So if I didn't have that support, I don't know how I would be able to do it. But I pay her on a per transaction basis. That's good leverage if you're just starting out and you don't have a ton of deals and can't pay for, full-time leverage. It's a really nice kind of opportunity to have somebody else just to bounce things off of and for some leverage here and there as well. But that's the only other support I have is a transaction coordinator.
Okay. Okay. Excellent. So tell us a little bit about, you get going now, you see what's happening, right? You close a couple of deals, you get some referrals, the business starts happening. You're in like year 2, 3. Were you trying some things that maybe you wouldn't do again?
One of the things that I wouldn't do again is go it totally alone without a mentor, without a coach, without having some kind of support somewhere. I remember my first, I don't know, 3 or 5 deals that I did, and I had no idea what I was doing. I really didn't have a lot of support. I didn't have a lot of training. I don't know how I didn't get sued, quite frankly. And I definitely made some missteps along the way that gave me awful heartburn and, that gut feeling of like, oh my gosh, I am potentially messing with people's lives. And what I wouldn't do again is pretend like I have knowledge that I don't. I wouldn't put off as being more skilled than I am. I think honesty is very, very important in this industry, and integrity, and being a moral human being. And if you don't know the answer, just say that you don't know it and you'll figure it out and find a way. But surrounding yourself with people who are better than you or more skilled than you or more seasoned than you is really important. And being able to ask those questions and actually hear what they're saying to you, and having just a sounding board or having guidance is hugely important. So I would not go it without some kind of support around me, whether it's a community, a team, or whatever else when I'm getting started. I actually mentor a lot of new agents in our brokerage now for that reason of don't make the mistakes that I made. And
Yeah.
if you can actually have a mentor or have some kind of leverage when you're getting started, you don't have to figure out how to do a CMA for yourself. You can plug into their system that they already have. You can save so much time and get so much further faster by finding some leverage and finding some support around you.
Good, good. Yeah, great advice. And that's kind of what we're looking for here. As you know, it sounds like you've just been growing so naturally, organically, but
Mhm.
tell us about like the last couple of years. Do you have a focus on, like, you've done 40 units, you think you'll do maybe close to 50? Like, do you set goals each year and then do you look to adjust your lead gen machine to hit those goals, or how is it working for you?
Yeah, so I always set goals. I have a goal spreadsheet where I look at all my different income sources and I break down how much I want to make by each of those and then how much I want to make monthly, because one of the things in real estate is there can be seasonality and there can be an ebb and a flow. And I really want to make sure that as much as possible I have some consistency in my business. And I want to make sure that, especially in a place like Vermont where it's cold in the winter, that I'm still transacting over the winter months, and that I have some breathing room in the summer to actually enjoy the Vermont summer that
Yeah.
we have. So I do set goals. I look at my goals every single day. I wouldn't say I necessarily change my lead gen plans, but I know, okay, if I don't have X number of people actively looking to buy or sell, I need to be in touch more often. I have to create more content that can be used to generate buyers and sellers. I've been taking more listings this year, which I don't actually love listings. That's a whole other conversation, but I've been taking more listings and I've been promoting them through my social media. And anytime I do that, now I probably get 15 to 20 people who I can add to my database. So that's a lead gen, mechanism for me to keep adding to my pipeline. But I look at my pipeline every single day, and I look at the MLS every day and figure out, okay, who can I be sending listings to? If I don't have a strong enough pipeline, then yeah, I will double down. I'll send some more emails. I'll check in with past clients and say, is there anybody I can be helping? I think the biggest thing is just maintaining that pipeline. And if I want to close 40 to 50 deals, I really need to be looking at any given time for 10 clients or so, and making sure that I have 10 buyers or sellers who are very motivated and ready to make a move right now.
Good. I love the approach. Are you doing anything with events?
I don't do anything with events.
Okay. Okay,
I'm
cool.
not a social person,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
Again, trying to be more authentic and whatever else. I don't do a ton with events. I have toyed with, there's like a boat ride in town here, and partnering with them to take clients out just for like a summer cruise or whatever else, more informal, and I'll go to housewarming parties and I'll go to cookouts that clients and such have, but I
Mhm.
don't do 4 client events a year, like a pie day, like a movie event or whatever else. I just feel like I don't have to spend that budget necessarily, since I do have the content engine already kind of going for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything else you're doing in the content engine you can share? Like, do you partner with anyone else? Are you doing any like sponsorships where you're obviously generating a lot of revenue for other partners, anything in that realm?
Yeah. So now that my following is big enough, I have about, I don't know, 83,000 followers on Instagram. I do get a lot of paid partnerships where people and brands and companies come to me on a regular basis and ask for collaborations. And I always think, if I'm going out into the community, I mean, who knows a lot of people? It's restaurant owners, it's
Yeah.
coffee shops. They're seeing a ton of people on a regular basis. So if I can help support them in their business, I'm going to be top of mind. If somebody in a conversation with them starts talking about real estate, I mean, I have business cards at some restaurants and cafes and such in town that I've
Mhm.
developed partnerships with, and such. But for me, the content engine is all about, how do I give back to the community? How do I showcase that I have just this immense expertise of my community, and that I'm really willing to help people find their place in the community? And it's very simple. It's no shiny objects. It's not a lot of fancy camera equipment or anything like that. It literally is me and my iPhone and making sure that I'm taking clips wherever I'm going. So I have a centralized repository on my phone of about 70,000 clips now that I
Yeah.
can search for whatever I need. And that helps create the content, of course. But then it's really just the consistency of doing it every single day and engaging with the people as well. It's not, you can't just post content and be done. It's how do I then elevate this on social media? How do I elevate it in a blog? How do I elevate it in a newsletter? And the consistency, when I started doing it every single day, that's really what my business took.
Yeah. Consistency. I love that piece to it. Okay. That's a great little, it went by very quickly, right? But that point, I think, is maybe one of the most important points.
Yeah.
Because I hear a lot of agents, right? I've done dozens and dozens of these interviews. We're talking to hundreds of agents. That seems to be, I think, the single biggest challenge that agents is being consistent about whatever they're doing, right? Being authentic in whatever communication that they're doing. I don't care if it's events, if it's email, if it's whatever it is, they get a little busy and then they're off track and then they want to know, where's my pipeline?
Exactly. And that's what I found is that you have to master the boredom of doing the same thing that works for you over and over and over again. And I think oftentimes we do let things fall off. We get busy, we forget about it. But if it works and it's worked over time, I think there's some like instant gratification that comes with that of knowing, okay, whatever I do is going to help. And then, I'll have people say to me, oh, your content has done for our business what the government can't, like just funny things like that. And it's kind of heartwarming to just think I'm making an impact on people's businesses, and that keeps me going as well. But my business did not take off until I really mastered the consistency. And then it's about how do you put systems in place that enable you to maintain the consistency and execute against it more efficiently. So for me, I do monthly brainstorms on content. I'll sit down every Sunday and kind of ideate, or what's my weekly schedule for content. I'll write the captions, and I can use ChatGPT to help a little bit here and there with hooks and captions, but I always want to add in my own flair, my own voice, because that's really important. And then I just follow the schedule where every morning I post, typically about 7:30 in the morning. I engage throughout the day, and it's just something that I do. And it's kind of, eating the frog and getting the most important thing out of the way first. That's what I do first thing in the morning. And that's my lead gen. That's my most important thing that I have to do every single day. And so long as I'm doing that and I'm showcasing value and I'm getting myself out there, the leads are going to come to me, which is how my business grows.
Just beautiful. I don't even want to ask you any more questions because I don't want to get off track, because this is, one of those interviews where I just think, people can use this in so many different ways and learn. And that's what we're trying to do here. I always feel if you can take one nugget away from an interview, any meeting, and use that, it's a home run. And I think you gave us a couple of really good nuggets here that young, newbies that may be coming into the market can, get started and try, and others. I do feel that the kind of the wonderful part about agents, and I love hearing it from you too, is the caring about people and the caring about community. And the ones that are the most successful, you can tell truly in their heart how they care about, them helping someone find that dream home or, get into something they never thought they could. That's what's doing this for them. And I feel it from you.
Yeah, it's a very big responsibility that we have to people. And I think sometimes if this business is not keeping you up at night, you're doing something wrong and you don't realize the immense weight and I want to say pressure, but it's not. It's almost an honor, to be able to help people in really one of the most important transactions they ever have in their lifetime. Yeah. So it has to be serious business and it can be very fun at the same time, but it's one of those things that agents just need to understand the weight and the impact of the work that they're doing. And then if you really do care and you want to make that impact, it's just a really beautiful cycle.
Lovely, lovely. We're going to end here. Do me a favor. I want people to follow you on social media. So can you once again give out your website?
Yes, it's Travel Like a Local Vermont. So Travel Like a Local VT on Instagram.
Excellent. Okay. Well, I'm going to be following you. I happen to love Vermont. I told you I'm not too far from you in upstate New York, but love it. I'm going to jump on. For anyone watching, please follow us on social media, sign up on YouTube, subscribe to us. And until next time, Erin, thank you so much for spending the time with us. Really appreciate the great content that you provided here.
Thank you as well. It was very fun.
Thanks.